Hi, everyone. Welcome to the webinar today. We're about 10 or 9 minutes away, so I just thought I'd get things started here, and I'll open it up with just my slide deck. And yeah, we'll get going here in a couple minutes. So nice that everyone is chatting with each other in the window there too. minutes, and it's so cool to see the conversation off to the side. Definitely feel free to say hi to each other, share any curation tips you all might have, and I'll look forward to getting things started here in just a couple minutes. All right. Well, it is just on the hour here, so I think I'll go ahead and get us started. So great to see everyone and the wonderful chatter off to the side here in the comments. Hi there, I'm Kevin. I am the Director of Marketing at Buffer, and I'm so grateful to see you all here today on this webinar. The response to this has been amazing. We've had 5,000 people signed up for this one, and I see there's about 300 or so, 266 in the chat here at the moment. I'm going to email this out afterward as a full replay to everyone else who couldn't quite make it. And also just really quickly wanted to mention off the top here, this is the first of 5 webinars that we're doing this week. I know that a lot of you have signed up for all 5. Thank you for doing that. So I just wanted to give a quick teaser to the ones that are coming up next. This is a quick list of them here. So we have me today. Tomorrow is our Instagram marketing one with Ash. On Wednesday, I'll be back with you for social media data and analytics. On Thursday, Brian's going to join us for diagnosing the Facebook newsfeed, sharing some cool tips there. Then on Friday, Haley's going to be here to talk about social media, PR, and outreach. So it should be a great, great week. Thanks so much for taking some time out to join us today. So yeah, while I'm talking here, if you all want to ask any questions or share any thoughts or resources in the comment stream, you'll find it off to the right of the page, which is, let's see if I'm pointing the right way. I think it's opposite this side, all over here. And then if you're watching on mobile or on a tablet, it should be down below underneath the video. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to do a bit of screen share and a bit of slides, so I'll be switching back and forth between the two a little bit here. First off with our slide deck. So great. So today's topic is 3 clever ways to discover and share the very best content on social media. And there's some really cool stuff here. I think it's one of my favorite topics for sure. It's something that I've done a lot of before. It's basically content curation is what it is. And it's a term that I'll probably be using quite a bit in the webinar. It's something that we do a lot at Buffer in terms of our sharing. And it's helped us a lot with things like, our influence, our authority. It's helped with our reach. And I'm excited to share some tips about how we can get this going for you all too. So in this webinar, I'm excited to teach you all some efficient workflows for finding great content online. That's one of the harder things to do out there, believe it or not. So I'm going to share some of our best tips that we like to use. I'm going to share how to run a complete content curation strategy. And the great part is you can do this in as little as 1 hour per day, which is pretty exciting. And of course, to get there, there's some great tools and websites that are used by the best social media sharers. And I'm excited to share what those are with you. So first up is this kind of brief overview of how to curate content. The way that we tend to break it down at Buffer is 3 different steps. The first step is to discover the content. The second step is to read the content. And the third step is to share the content. And of course, that probably seems a bit obvious and maybe a bit natural. And that's great. Like in theory, content curation is a very simple and easy thing to do. It's discover, read, and share. Where you go from good curation to great curation is the way that you go about each of those 3 steps, both from the time that it takes you, so how efficiently can you work with these things, then also the depth and the quality with which you do each of these. Are you finding the best stuff? Are you reading it in such a way that you're recommending the best stuff? Then are you sharing it? Are you getting it out in front of the people who want to see it and who matter most? So in terms of the workflows, I wanted to start with number 1, which is curate from the curators. And where this idea comes from is that there's already so many wonderful, brilliant, amazing people out there who are curating content for their audiences. And they're kind of doing some of the work for us already, which is great. So thank you very much for those who are doing it. And the places that you can find this is newsletters and communities and tools. So there's lots of great places to look. This is how I got started with curation. I was mostly just a reader at first. And then it went from reading to sharing. And then it went from sharing to targeted sharing, curated sharing in a way that was focused on a particular topic and brought me some significant results. And I'll quickly share kind of what this might look like for me in particular and what it might look like for you all too. I'll switch over to my screen here for just a moment. So this is my inbox. And I pull all of my newsletters into this inbox here and I tag them with a certain tag. So this story here with the blue tag is from Distro Snack, which is a neat little 1 tip a day newsletter. And it's more just based on tips. What this tag also does is it represents all the newsletters that I have that are curated, so curation from curators. So if I go over here to the left-hand column and click on stories, I'm able to scroll through all the different newsletters that I subscribe to and read them all at once so that I can share and curate these links all at once. So for instance, I have Growth Hackers on the list, and it pulls out some of the best posts from the week in here. I have one from Make Change, which has 10 different links that are sent once a week. Some really good stuff in here. I have one from Anne Friedman, who is a wonderful author, and she has this whole paragraph here is just chock full of great links that might be worth sharing. So that's one of my flows, is curating these curators within my inbox. When it comes to communities, I might go to a place like Growth Hackers or Inbound or Hacker News. This is the Growth Hackers homepage. And as you can see, it's a community that votes up different stories that are submitted to the site each day. So there's some up here about an AMA with the person who does growth at Mozilla, something about getting featured in Apple's App Store. So it's really great. I don't have to go find all these posts. They're often from a very diverse set of domains and blogs, and and resources. So it's great that they get found for me in a lot of ways. And then this is a quick look at Hacker News. Again, it's another upvoting system. It ranks the stories here on the left, and then you can see a little point total right below. So this is, again, is a crowdsourced way of surfacing some of the best content. This will look really similar to a site like Reddit also, which curates this content for you on a very topical basis, a very categorical, segmented basis. And when it comes to tools, there's another neat tool here I wanted to show you first before we switch back. This is a tool called Panda. And what it does is it collects all sorts of different sites. It started more as like an aggregator for different sites, and now it's kind of switched to even something as powerful as an aggregator plus an RSS reader. So I can change and add any different thing that I want to this homepage here. Right now I have growth hackers listed on my left-hand column, which is a great marketing resource. But I also have some other options here. Some of these are websites, so it's just a simple RSS feed. Others are places like Product Hunt, which shows the biggest hunts of the day. These images off to the right, this is Dribble, which is a design resource. And I can change this to other things. I can manage feeds. I can add different feeds. Here's a whole list of them here. Then I can see it all on this visual dashboard. I can change the look of the dashboard. I can, do all sorts of different stuff here. And one of the great things about Panda, you can set this as your homepage, and right when you start off your day, you're good to go with stuff that's already curated for you. So let me hop back into the presentation now. So curate from the curators is the first workflow. The second one is to curate automatically, like it feels like magic when you're doing some of these things. When it comes to this one, we really enjoy using tools like IFT and Zapier. And those, again, are ift.com and zapier.com. They're really wonderful tools. And we combine them with Buffer, we combine them with Pocket, we combine them with Feedly, these other great tools that help you share, read, and discover different content. And just to kind of quickly show you one of the ones that I have here, I'll share my screen again real quick. So this is the IFT website, ift.com, IFTTT. And these are all of the recipes that I have. Some of them are turned off, some of them are still there. This is one I've had for a while, so it's down at the bottom of my list. Let's see, here it is. So in Pocket, which is a Read It Later app, whenever I find a story that I like, I can give it a star, and it automatically puts that story from Pocket into Buffer for me. It grabs the picture, it grabs the heading, the headline for the story, and I'm good to go. So here's a look at my Pocket. Here's my home feed here. I have a list of favorites off to the left. They have little stars that are noted here. And if I want to, I'll star that. If I see something that I like, I'll give it a star. And then a few minutes later, when I hop into my Buffer queue, my Buffer dashboard, I'll see lots of these ones down here. And this might be really small to be able to see this. But it says via ift.com right next to my picture down here, which means this one came from Pocket to IFT. Excuse me, from Pocket to Buffer via IFT. And same with this one below, you can see it grabs an image. It's another one from Pocket that grabbed an image. In some cases it won't grab an image, which is the case here. And that's just as simple as opening this up to edit, taking off that picture. Then while I'm in here, I can change the title and the heading too. But that's a really big time saver when it comes to curation workflow. Okay. And then the number 3 way, the third workflow here, is to curate from your followers. And this has a couple neat tips. So again, this is a very tools related one. You can do this manually by just following fewer people, or maybe following people but being on social media a lot. So you're seeing all the stuff that comes through. I tend to use a couple tools to kind of make this a bit more of an efficient flow for me. The first tool is Nuzzle, and the second tool is Refind. And both of those are nuzzle.com, refind.com. And I'll quickly show you what Nuzzle looks like here. So Nuzzle is an app that looks at all your friends that you have on Facebook and on Twitter, and it pulls out all the links that they have shared throughout the course of the day. Here it is. This is Nuzzle. And then it ranks those articles that they pull out based on how many people are sharing them, based on the reaction to these articles that get shared. And it sends it to you in a daily digest. This just happens to be the Nuzzle homepage. And you can come here to see your digest also. But this is also going to arrive in my inbox tomorrow, first thing in the morning, and I'll be able to see the top 3 posts that are shared, even the top posts that are shared from friends of friends. So something on like those related networks that might be surfacing or becoming viral that you might not know about otherwise. But it shows you what's been shared here in the links below. It shows you the story itself. And there's lots of content here that you can sift through. And the second site, Refined, this is a new one to me. There's the person who started Moz, Rand Fishkin, he suggested this one to us. His picture is here on the very left. That's Rand right there. So thank you, Rand, for the tip on this one. It's very similar to Nuzzle in that it surfaces content based on the people that you follow. So these articles here are ones that have been shared by people that I followed on Twitter. And even if I don't have to follow these people, they can just be influencers who I choose within Refined to see the stuff that they're sharing. But it works really great. It also has a digest option to have stuff emailed to you. And the one thing about Refined is that it is an invite-only service at the moment. So if you want an invitation to it or are curious to learn a bit more, feel free to email me afterward, kevin@buffer.com, and I will share as many invitations as I can, or I can maybe even reach out to the Refined folks and let them know that some of us might be keen to get into this one. Great. So that's the 3 workflows. So we have discover, read, share. You can curate from curators. You can automate this stuff so that it happens quickly and automatically. And you can curate from your friends and your followers. And when it comes to this flow, and to do it quickly, do it in an hour or less, so we have discover, read, and share. This chart here is what I imagine is the ideal setup for this kind of workflow. The bulk of it in blue here is discover. So in my mind, I'm spending 3/4 of my time discovering content. I'm going out to all these different tools, subscribing to newsletters, reading newsletters. Within Feedly, which is an RSS reader, I have 25 websites that I have personally chosen as these really great sites that I want to learn from and discover content from. So it takes me a lot of time to discover the content. It takes me a bit less time, quite a bit less time, to read the content, which is great. I tend to be very, very picky about the content that I share, and I think that's something that most good curators will also share. You don't share something unless it meets this certain bar of quality, this certain standard for yourself, which helps the reading time, take up less. So like as soon as this isn't meeting that quality bar, then you can move on to the next article. And if it's not, sometimes it's not even quality. Sometimes it's just the fit with the audience and the topic that you want to be sharing about. And then the very last little yellow sliver is share percentage. And in my mind, you can share this content. 5% of your time is all this should take in your curation workflow. 75% with discover, 20% with read, 5% with share. And here's some specific tips then on what this is going to look like in order to cut that down from to an hour per day overall. And some of this we've touched on already. So curate from curators. This is going to help you go faster because the curation work has already been done for you. When you're coming up with the list of content that you want to discover, I tend to limit this to 25 go-to content sources. This is great because it doesn't mean I'm spending forever on certain sites, especially the sites that the curators are already curating from. Typically, these 25 content sources are under the radar ones that not too many other people know about, I hope. Follow interesting people, and then you can see what they share. This ties in well to tools like Nuzzle and Refined, which once you're following these people, Nuzzle will pull out the stuff that they're sharing automatically for you. And then anytime you find a new content source to curate from, give them a probationary period. You might not you spend a couple weeks with them, and if it's something where you're curating stuff 2 or 3 times within the course of those 2 weeks, that's great. If it's that you found one article initially and nothing more, then maybe it makes sense to drop them from the list and trust that the good content will surface itself as time goes on. When it comes to reading content, I highly, highly recommend getting a Read It Later app, much like Pocket. And then once you're in that app, you definitely stop reading as soon as you know if it's a yes or no, like we talked about with whether it reaches that bar, that quality bar, or that topic bar, if it fits your topic or industry well enough. If it doesn't hold your attention, it's probably not going to hold the attention of your readers. So that's kind of a nice test if you're thinking of should I share this or not. And these last two are kind of interesting. It's okay to skim the articles that you're choosing to read, but do so within reason. You don't want to get caught out if you're sharing something you didn't fully read and it has something in it that you might have missed that doesn't necessarily fit your tone. And then sometimes images make the best text. I thought there was a really cool example of this. I'll show this one to you on my screen here. Let's see. Thanks for bearing with me with all this back and forth switching. Okay, so my Feedly, by the way, just some links that I have here. I have sections for writing and marketing. And within this Feedly, I found this article from First Round. And they do a really great blog on thought leadership, management, startups. This article is about receiving radical candor. And they write really long articles, wonderfully long articles, like lots of great stuff in here. I might not read all of this one, so this is one that I might skim. When it comes to curating images even, just when I scroll through this, I know this is going to be a quality article because I trust the site itself and the blog itself. But this image here, so radical candor is what the article is about, but it also talks about these other 4 areas, these other 3 areas: empathy, insincerity, and aggression. And this picture in and of itself, kind of tells the whole story there. So this is something I might curate on its own without needing to read the whole thing. And again, that's saving time overall in the curation workflow. And then the last little tip here for cutting your curation workflow down to an hour per day. This is the sharing portion, and you can see it has fewer bullet points than the rest because hopefully this is as quick and easy as can be. So the first part is to get a social media scheduling app. Buffer, of course, is the one that we tend to use and love. Set up an automation workflow. So again, this could be something like IFT or Zapier. With IFT, for me, that's super simple. I find good stuff to read. I add it to Pocket. Everything I favorite from Pocket goes into my buffer queue, and I'm able to share it from there. And then other folks, when it comes to sharing, you can either share via social media and set yourself up as a thought leader there, or you can share via email and create your own email newsletter that shares links. You can totally do both also. It's definitely not an either or. So if it is an email route that you want to go, there's lots of good email solutions out there that help speed that process up from you having to do everything manually. There's tools that will pull in the articles that you love automatically, and basically you have your whole email set to go, and you just have to clean it up and press send. And I'll talk about those here in just a minute. Great. So the last section here, I wanted to touch on some top-of-the-line tools for content curation. These are some of the favorite ones that we have at Buffer, and maybe some that you all are familiar with too. So for social media scheduling and for publishing and analytics, there's lots of great options out there. This is what Buffer is for and is all about. Thank you so much, so many of you out there who are Buffer users already. It's a significant part of our curation workflow for sure. There's other tools in the field as well: Hootsuite, Sprout, and Sprinkler. When it comes to curation, I think all 4 of those do a really great job. Buffer in particular is built for publishing in a lot of ways, so it makes that process especially smooth, intuitive, uncluttered. It's just a really nice, clean experience. For Read It Later apps, we talked about Pocket a bit already, which is a wonderful one. It's one that I use myself all the time. They have a really neat extension too that works really great on Chrome. So as you're scrolling through Twitter, there's a little Pocket icon that you can click and add tweets and links on Twitter straight into your Pocket. So lots of cool integrations there to really speed that process up. And the same with Instapaper, very similar to Pocket. Both these tools are going to take the articles that you put in there, strip out all the extra stuff, and make it a really clean reading experience. And Instapaper just got bought by Pinterest too, I believe, so there might be some cool stuff coming down the pipe there. For RSS readers, this is a really cool one. I'd be curious in the comments if you want to leave any thoughts on RSS readers that you all use or love or used to love. I personally was a big fan of Google Reader back in the day, so I'm still kind of adjusting to life without Google Reader. But the one that has filled that need for me is Feedly. Far and away, they have a wonderful, wonderful app that makes it really easy to read on iPad and on iOS, and definitely on Android too. There's also some other options. Dig, the website, they have their own RSS reader called Dig Reader. There's one called the Old Reader, which I believe is created to look and feel quite a bit like Google Reader. And then in the comments, I think I saw someone mention Flipboard earlier. This is an awesome one. I haven't personally got into Flipboard too much, but I've heard wonderful, wonderful stuff about it. It's a very visual form of RSS, almost like a personal magazine to a certain degree. So a very, very cool tool. And then this part here for seeing what your friends are sharing on social, the two tools we talked about, Nuzzle and Refind. Again, let me know if you want to get an invite into Refind, and we can see if we can hook you up there. And then Nuzzle is a great tool also, which is free and fully available to everyone. And this is the bit about email newsletters that I wanted to cover. So we have Good Bits and Curated. And these are really cool. And the way these work is you basically tell these tools what you like. So you can pull it in from RSS. You can have it come from different integrations. It's going to pull this content into the dashboard for these different tools. And then from within this dashboard, you can basically build and create the newsletter itself rather than having to pull it all in manually. I have a Good Bits account, so I wanted to show you quickly what this looks like in practice too. Great. So this is my Good Bits dashboard here. Go to the main screen. So in the right-hand pane here is my email. So Good Bits has pulled in an image and the name of the article that I want to share. This middle column here is all of the content that I have asked it to kind of integrate into the layout here so that I can choose these and add them into my email. So this is one that I had read before. And if I want to add it, it's as simple as dragging and dropping. And there it is. And then the way this content gets here is you can configure different sources into your Good Bits flow. So one of the connected sources that I have is all my Pocket favorites. So this is like a theme I'm noticing is coming up. I favorite a lot of things in Pocket. This is the same flow that I have that puts stuff into Buffer. So anytime I favorite something in Pocket, it gets added to Good Bits. And there's some other options here too. So any tweets that you do that contain a link can be sent directly into Good Bits. Any RSS feeds that you have, if you share anything to Buffer, that can come straight into your queue. Same thing with Slack. Anything that you send in Slack channels can go directly to your queue. So this like blows it way out. That like this is really powerful stuff that can save you a lot of time. So not only are you don't need to keep track of what stuff you're sharing anymore. You don't have to go find it manually, come back and add it into your email newsletter with an image and a title and make sure the link is right. It all happens automatically for you here in Good Bits. And another good thing about Good Bits is that it connects to MailChimp. There's some different pro plans and paid plans, and these ones will help you get all set up with MailChimp integration, different designs and layouts. So lots of cool options here if email curation is something that you're keen to explore. Great, and just a couple more sets of tools here. So these are for if you're doing email. If you'd rather do a straightforward newsletter, so if you do want to do a bit of that manual curation, some of the ones that I was showing you earlier from within my inbox, like Anne Friedman's, for instance, I believe it was originally built with some of these tools. So again, like it can be fast. And I know you noticed hers was just a big block, a paragraph of text. If that's the route you want to go, these tools are awesome. Tiny Letter is probably the easiest one to do. Campaign Monitor and MailChimp are a bit more robust. I'll quickly show you my Tiny Letter screen here. So this is TinyLetter. It's like, it's really super simple. So this is my personal one. There's a few subscribers in here. But this is just the draft itself. So it's a simple HTML layout and template. Give it a subject, give it a message. And when you're done, just click send. You can fully manage your subscribers here. You can export them and add them into a bigger tool like MailChimp or some other one. And then for the design, you can design a subscribe page very simply. It's basically a headline, who you are, and a little text here. You can add in an archive link as well. It shows links to past emails. And then you get to customize the confirmation email and the unsubscribe page. So really basic, but really powerful stuff. If it looks familiar at all, it's because MailChimp owns TinyLetter. So MailChimp is the big, robust option, and TinyLetter is the simple, lean option. And then one or two more screens here. So this is tools for Sorry about that, everyone. I think my connection dropped for a second. Wanted to quickly show you the link to the letter list. I'll grab it here in my Great, so here's letter list. So it has a nice collection here of a bunch of different newsletters. As you're scrolling down, you can see some of my favorite ones from this list is Zen at Play. This one here for Future Crunch. Bringing the Donuts is a great one. And any of these you can sign up for automatically. You can log in with Twitter, and then it connects you to these newsletters right away. Great. I think that brings us to the end of our slides here. Perfect. You're right on time. Sorry for the slight blip there at the end. I hope I didn't lose too many of you there. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for this really fast, quick run through of content curation. I know there was a lot to chew on here, a lot of different stuff that I shared. We do have complete notes, all the details from what I talked about today, lots of different links at a blog post that we wrote last week. It's blog.bufferapp.com/content-curation. And I will make sure to share this link in the follow-up email for everyone as well. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to get in touch with me directly. I'm at Kevan Lee on Twitter and on email at kevin@buffer.com. And thank you so much for joining us. We have a webinar tomorrow, a wonderful one with Ash. It's going to be all about Instagram marketing. I'll be sure to get in touch with you all with the link and the location for that one tomorrow. And yeah, thanks so much, everyone. Chat with you again soon.